Last night, someone broke into a grave, and the night before, and the night before that. In fact, for nearly 3 straight months, the same person was crawling through the dark, prying open mausoleums, rappelling into underground crypts, and walking out with human remains like it was a job. Because for him, it was. This is the story of Jonathan Gerlach. And trust me, you're going to want to sit down for this one. Jonathan is in his early 30s, lives in Pennsylvania, plays in a heavy metal band, works double warehouse shifts just to keep the lights on. Music is expensive, tours, gear, videos, and Jonathan is always broke. Okay, so far, pretty normal guy, right? Struggling musician, warehouse job, just trying to make it work. We've all been there. Well, maybe not exactly there, but you get it. Now here's where everything goes sideways. Around 2023, Jonathan gets introduced to a man who has a very unusual business. This man allegedly buys human remains on the black market, hearts, brains, bones, skulls, and resells them to collectors for serious money. Wait, collectors? Yes, collectors. There is an entire marketplace for this. Legal, unregulated, and surprisingly active. And Jonathan, staring at his empty bank account, sees an opportunity. Now, the only problem? This business requires startup capital. You need to buy human remains before you can sell them. And Jonathan doesn't have that kind of money. So, okay, follow me here. He skips the buying part entirely. He is going to steal human remains and then sell them. That's the plan. That's the whole plan. Now, here is something that genuinely surprised me about this story. Modern grave robbing looks nothing like what you're imagining. Jonathan is not out there with a shovel at midnight, digging 6 feet down like some Victorian-era villain. That's exhausting and slow and frankly amateurish. Instead, according to investigators, Jonathan targets above-ground mausoleums and sealed underground vaults, structures that have been locked and untouched for over a century. At one point, he rappelled 10 feet down into an underground crypt with a rope just to reach the human remains at the bottom. He rappelled into a crypt with a rope. I don't know whether to be horrified or impressed by the commitment. Actually, yes, I do. Horrified. Definitely horrified. And here's the detail that really got me. He stopped at a hardware store beforehand and shoplifted a headlamp, gloves, an LED rechargeable glow stick, and a metal cutting wheel. Because he needed the right tools. Because he was professional about this. The cemetery he chose was Mount Moriah, 200 acres on the edge of Philadelphia. Established in 1855. An estimated 200,000 graves, Civil War veterans, historic figures, families with private mausoleums going back generations. Massive, partially abandoned, and extremely difficult to monitor. Jonathan knew exactly what he was doing. And so it begins. Night after night, he shows up. He breaks into a mausoleum, he pries open a vault. He takes the human remains inside. He drives his Toyota RAV4 home 70 miles away and stacks everything in his basement. Just stacks it in the basement, like boxes from IKEA. Among what he took, a woman born 1854, died 1869. 15 years old when she died. She had been resting in that crypt for over 150 years. 150 years of rest. Gone. He also broke open family vaults, entire family mausoleums, and stripped them of generations of human remains. Then, oh, it gets better. He goes online. He joins a Facebook group, and I need you to understand, this is a real group. It is still active. You could find it right now. He posts on Instagram, skull photos, pictures of himself posing with human remains. In one caption, he describes himself as living alone in the mountains, riding a Harley, slinging skulls. He is not living in the mountains. He lives in a rental house, in a residential neighborhood, with bones in the basement. But the brand must be maintained. And then, okay, brace yourself. In one post, someone in the Facebook group publicly thanked him for selling them a human skin bag. I had to read that 3 times, still processing it. He is also, at this point, claiming on Instagram to be completing a certification in forensic and osteological analysis, offering professional assessment of human remains through a business he was planning to launch. He is essentially trying to become an influencer in the human remains space. And it is working. His numbers are going up. People are buying. You know what? Let's just move on. Now here's the legal twist that makes this whole thing even more infuriating. In Pennsylvania and several other states, there is no law against buying or selling human remains. 0. None. Nobody ever thought to write that law, because who on earth would need it? Jonathan. Jonathan would need that law. Apparently, but, and this is the critical part, stealing human remains is absolutely illegal. Grave robbery is a crime. Breaking into a mausoleum is burglary. Desecrating a burial site is a criminal offense. So what Jonathan was doing existed in this bizarre legal gap. So when police eventually charged him, they had to reach for burglary, abuse of a corpse, criminal trespassing, desecration of a historic burial place, and receiving stolen property. Stacking charge upon charge to cover something the law had never quite anticipated. Night after night, 2 years of this. By late 2025, he has the human remains of over 100 people stored in his basement and a rented storage unit in Ephrata. Then, and this is where I genuinely threw my hands up, he makes a catastrophic mistake. He shows his family. 2 relatives come to visit, and Jonathan, for reasons that I cannot explain, that no one can explain, that a team of psychologists probably couldn't explain, decides to give them the full basement tour. They see everything. They don't call the police. Maybe they're scared. Maybe they're in shock. Honestly, maybe they just needed a moment. But they talk about it. They tell people they know. And one of those people, on December 23rd, 2025, makes a phone call. The tip that comes in is unlike anything detectives had heard. The caller tells police, look into Jonathan Gerlach. Someone he knows went to Jonathan's home and saw a partially decomposed body hanging from the ceiling of his basement, and they were too afraid to report it. The caller also mentions Jonathan's Instagram, points them to his posts, tells them he'd been talking about flying to Chicago to sell a skull. Police start pulling threads. His license plates start appearing on traffic cameras near Mount Moriah. Again and again, on the exact nights the break-ins were reported. His phone places him there too. His hardware store purchases match tools. Detectives set up a stakeout outside Mount Moriah Cemetery. And Jonathan shows up, right on cue. Then Jonathan walks out of the cemetery, carrying a crowbar and a burlap sack. Officers move in immediately. They open the sack. Inside, the mummified remains of 2 small children, 3 skulls, and more bones. He's arrested on the spot. And then, Jonathan walks investigators back into the cemetery and voluntarily demonstrates, step by step, exactly how he used the crowbar to break open the graves. A tutorial from the criminal about his own crimes. At this point, I don't even know what to say anymore. The next day, police go to his house on Washington Avenue in Ephrata. The Delaware County District Attorney later told reporters that detectives walked into a horror movie come to life. The Yeadon police chief, 30 years in law enforcement, called it the most horrific thing he had ever seen in his career. In the basement, over 100 skulls arranged on shelves, Jonathan reportedly admitted to stealing around 30 sets of human remains. Though what was recovered makes that number seem like a significant undercount. He said he'd sold some online. The rest he kept. He was charged with more than 500 counts, including 100 counts of abuse of a corpse, 26 counts of burglary, and dozens more for theft, criminal trespassing, desecrating a historic burial place, and desecrating venerated objects. He is currently sitting in Delaware County Prison on $1 million bail. He has not been convicted. The case has not gone to trial. And every last detail of what Jonathan Gerlach allegedly did, allegedly planned, and allegedly built in that basement is still legally alleged. But those shelves were real.